Hello, and welcome to Urban Hood Money Talk. It's a fact that we need money to enjoy life and focus on the things that we really like. I am your co host, Allie, and I'm here with Mushi Buyan. Our mission is helping you gain financial freedom. You're listening to one of our special weekly market talks, which provides news on the upcoming week that may be important to traders. And we're super excited that you're here with us.
Ask questions, stay engaged. I will be monitoring this conversation, and then someone from the group or myself or others will respond to your questions. Let's go ahead and get started. So when we talk about stock market or investment, any type of investment or thinking of learning about money is a journey. So think of that any journey you make it either short term, long term, you have to have some kind of planning. So let's make a plan for next week that if you want to invest, what are the things that you should be keeping an eye on? So your short-term investment account, either in stock market or crypto, it doesn't go down, or long-term that you can be prepared for it. You might find some opportunities to buy it. Why not take advantage of those buying opportunities? So what you are looking at that Dow Jones, Bitcoin, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000. Dow Jones is like biggest of all companies that in stock market. Dow Jones shows you since last year up to now, this month, you can see that Dow Jones did not make too much loss. You say that we know that last few months we are going through a correction in the market, and some areas is more than 10% correction happened. However, Dow stayed very strong. So what does it tell you? If you can look at Dow Jones, Bitcoin, and those who has Bitcoin, and I feel your pain that is from 68 or 69, almost 70,000. It's back to half of that. Bitcoin came down, right? Whole crypto world is also seems like trading just like a stock market. Look at that, where it went around November almost like all-time high, and then since November it just keep going down and down, right? And look at Nasdaq is the one, all the technology is stock, but you see that high growth stocks are all fallen into in a Nasdaq, but Nasdaq is here. Nasdaq it went up, and now look at, we had more than 10% correction. Nasdaq is slow. It came down, but slowly from January, that it went so much down that in last few weeks we see slowly Nasdaq is trying to turn around, coming back up, right? And Russell 2000 is the worst. That's the small market or the small cap, small business, but we know that one struggled a lot. But look at Russell 2000. Where is it? From here, it came down, just like in October, almost all-time high, November time, but now slowly Russell 2000 also going down. So it gives you an idea that not all the business going down, and if you need to invest your money for short-term, long-term, that we already had 10% correction, and is the economy. You need to keep an eye on some other factors that cause this downtime. Now, is the economy and the people who is getting sick, and corona and or COVID and Omicron, whatever you call it, that number was going down, that added fear to the market. And are we going to have a whole economy shut down and so on? So those economical factor is a big issue. And then we had a huge that earnings started coming up. This new, the third quarter earning or earnings coming up for other companies. Those earnings seems to be not bad, right? Second quarter, third quarter was closing up last year. Those earnings came up, and earnings, we are seeing that this is not bad. That earnings are some of them are producing good earnings. So that's also causing, look at Nasdaq. We'll go more detail. Nasdaq came down, but slowly looks like no, there are some business still outperforming the expectation. So look at last week. What happened last week? Last week, the Dow, S&P, Nasdaq, and oil and bond. So the weekly, we see the Nasdaq had a good 2% gain last week. Although Nasdaq has year over year the 9.9% down, but last week is a good sign. Nasdaq, some of its the growth company came up with a very good number. Nasdaq is going upside. S&P is good that week closed with a positive, and Dow Jones is closed with positive. So overall, that we are seeing that is market seems to be trying to bounce back. We'll see now how far it can go, but it's a good thing. Good thing. Now, how that reflect that the sector? So let's look at it. So on the sector side, what you are seeing at last week, consumer discretionary, energy, financials, and real estate. And look at this, consumer discretionary had highest growth in last week. So those who is investing in that sector, that you may heard the earnings came out for Amazon. Amazon is the biggest player to contribute in that area. So so Amazon had awesome earnings came in because Amazon and others within that sector, Tesla and others also playing in a role in there. It had it's good growth. Energy, we know, is also doing well. Last few weeks consistently is outperforming. Financial is a good sign that is although they had some of them for surprise earnings, but it looks like financials are bouncing back. So at least you can see last 2 weeks, some of this sector went higher. And that's kind of good sign that I am Mushi Bhuyan, the founder of this nonprofit organization, Urban Food Alliance. It is a food bank. We are a 501c3 Central Jersey based organization. So far, last 2 years, we have given more than 1 million meals. So it will be great, if you can participate and support the cause. Urbanhood is our educational program here. On the website, on our website, you can see that we have daily stock tips, and weekly, and so many other the educational, financials, personal development events, and are on that website, and also some of the low-cost services. Everything I'm sharing is all educational purpose only. By all means, this is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. It is educational purpose only. Look at what happened to last week. If somebody, like to go on computer or heard about it, that last week S&P, that where most of the top companies, how did they perform? Microsoft overall, that it was a bad week for Microsoft. When I say bad week, a bad month, it had a good earnings. On the earnings side, in Microsoft, almost in a month lost 3%. So what that means is not a good sign, but at least you can see that, hey, when market went about 10% correction, Microsoft lost 3%. It's not bad. But on the other hand, Google, look at Google. Google had a 4% gain, right? We know Google is a great business, and no matter what happens, they are constantly coming up new ways to innovate. So people are going to Google it. They're going to use YouTube. They have the video business. They have so many other business that Google is coming up, that using technology, that no matter we are stuck in the house or we are at work in office, doesn't matter, still we contribute, right? This is something you can take advantage of it. Amazon, or whole month, if monthly Amazon lost money, although Friday, yeah, it did come. But if you look at overall what happened month over month, a year from today, Amazon lost money. So yeah, Amazon is outperformed, is not underperformed. Tesla in a month until now, that it lost almost like 15%. Tesla, Home Depot, those business are Home Depot. We know that construction is slow and stuff, but Home Depot, Lowe's, Nike, all those business lost more than 10%. So if you are looking to invest, then look at the company that you believe in, and then people are using it. Are you using it? That there are opportunities. There are business like Netflix lost in a month 27%. That's huge, right? Disney lost almost 10% in a month. We know that not that many people are using Disney's theme park and all this, but there is an opportunity for you if you believe in those type of business. And lastly, that I want to know, before I go to the next, that if you're thinking of monthly, look at the company, look at the business, look at what you like to read about, learn about it. There are so many opportunities. PayPal, we know that many times people use it, you hear about it, you buy things using PayPal. They are playing in a market, just taking the payment like Visa card, MasterCard. That company in a month lost more than 33%. That's a huge discount, right? So you can think of those business. So last week, let's say, how did it happen? What are the company in a week? What was the growth? As I'm speaking today is February 6, 2022. On that day, to last week, when market closed, it was Friday, was February 4th, 2022. But that day, if you look at Monday till Friday, whatever happened, Google had 7% gain. Amazon had in that week almost 9.5%, close to, you can call it close to 10%. The gain on Amazon. And Tesla's, it was a good sign for Tesla last week that it tried to come also close to 10%, but it's a 9% gain. Apple, J&J, Disney has little growth last week. Even Netflix tried to bounce back. Netflix had last week not 6% gain. So what does it tells you? It tells you, yes, now people are slowly realizing it, although that there are so many other things affect the stock market, economy, virus, and that the geopolitical events happens around the world, that it still doesn't matter. People feel more confident that the stock market is bouncing back. So let's see if it can maintain this conversation or maintain this momentum. So on the daily, what happened last Friday, if anyone that looked into the market or just your portfolio, you'll see that it's last Friday, Amazon had a great gain. It almost gained 14% in one day. That's huge. Also, if you'd be buying one stock of Amazon, it feels too expensive. Amazon one stock was that day, before market close around $2,800. Let's say $2,800, it went over $3,100. So more than $300 it gained. For if you invest $3,000, you are making $300, more than 10% and 14% gain on that day. It's a great gain, right? So Amazon had 14% gain last week. Google barely had any gain, but Microsoft has a not bad. It's trying to bounce back. Microsoft stock, it's 1.5%. But then there are other stocks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Those business seems like financial, it did good last Friday. And energy is still just like before it's just on fire. It just keep going up and going up. People are using more energy. We are all using more gas, more and the oil and all those things. Since that's Chevron and Exxon Mobil, they did pretty good, last week on last Friday. All right. So some of the economical things that we need to look into what's happening. Last Friday, the other contribution besides the earnings, great earnings, was the job number. The job number they expected, it went more than 100%. It's now, imagine yourself, it was like around 470,000 jobs, new jobs got created, where market expected, it was around 150 or 180, something like that, right? But then look, when the number came, it shocked everybody. Wow, that's a huge number came in for last month, which is a good sign. And investor got more confidence. Okay, it was not that bad. January, we know the month of January is slow time, but somehow there is a new type of job came in, boom. Then what happens to that? And then the earnings, that is so many business, the earnings came up, the expectation was what they did, whatever expectation they had, a low expectation, they just proven wrong to the analyst and others, that they can still be resilient, bounce back. 12% increase in earnings, overall increase, that what expected, which is great sign. Especially a lot of this contributor is in the big tech, and those companies, big tech like IBM, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. When you look at those business, that they had awesome gain. Cisco, that these business are long-term, is long-term in the business. They have a strong leadership team, strong products, strong customer base, and they are resilient. So when you're looking for business that what to invest, those type of business still is out, figuring out, stay on top of it. And as an investor, you can consider learning some of those business, and maybe think of, hey, maybe this is something you want to invest. So, and this coming week, you need to look into the things that what happened Bank of America. Look at that. Many times people say, oh no, we are going to increase the rate. Yes, we do not want Fed that keep printing this new money coming in the market, and then your value of the money goes down, right? So when they translate that calls, okay, Fed is okay, we're going to, Fed says they're going to control the monetary policy. With that, last week, Bank of America, not Bank of America, last week, Bank of England raised their interest rate, and market didn't get surprised. They knew that their economy is strong. People are still buying more, and consumers are ready to find the right product for the right price. So consumers are not not hesitant to spend money if they need to, right? So when they see that CPI data and other data is strong, economical data is strong, boom, they raise the interest rate. That and ECB, central bank, last week, they did not raise the interest rate. They stayed the same for last month, but it's not bad. We had the same thing. We did not, the month of January in USA, we did not, Fed did not increase the rate. So that was good. But we know in March, they are going to be increasing the rate. So then we did not have to be too much afraid of, hey, if they increase the rate, what will happen to my stock? You might find some opportunities that I'll share later on, that, yeah, that some of those stock who is not performing and is still not delivering what they promised to the market and to their investor shareholder, they are going to get penalized, right? So US has still, now that comes back to asking people, should I invest in the US market, or there are so many stock like in foreign market, in China, in Europe, or in other countries in Asia are very cheap. Should I invest there? So what we are seeing, that investors, especially in US investors who is looking for long-term growth and opportunities, they are finding that US business is still business like, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, although some of them got very much hit with this the downtime 10% correction, but still they are outperforming, comparing many other similar business in around the globe, right? And the growth margin is much higher. As an investor, what do? You want to invest in in a business where you know that your growth means your 6%, 10%, 8%, and whatever number is comfortable to you is higher growth and also is secure. Now, one thing it makes America unique, it has a rule of law. No one is above the rule of law, right? So that got a lot of confidence to the investor that, hey, no matter what happens in business like China, we know there is a lot of political issues, even international issues going on, and there is so many crackdown and things not right in capital market versus in communism world, right? So when that happens, those then as an investor you get to suffer because someone controlling, there is no truly transparency and rule of law and making sure it's fair, and the value we have in being an American is not respecting by other countries. So hence investors have more faith now going in investing in the current some of those growth company or high tech that where some of you might be thinking, hey, is it still a good time to invest in Google or and Amazon or Microsoft because their PE or those are so high? That's not right. That's not the way to think. So when I say PE means pay is a price versus earning. Those topic will go in further, but in future. But for now, that tells you if this is a good value, solid business. But so investors, the Blackwell and Rockwell and BlackRock and the Fidelity, many others find this type of business in America. Business is much more attractive to invest than emerging market. You might consider that. Then economy still is going higher and higher. High growth is company still has more potential to grow higher, and we have seen that the last week when Amazon mentioned that they are going to be increasing their price for some of the services. We have seen Netflix is doing the same thing, and that they are increasing price for the services they offer. So there are business, Starbucks and others, they are also doing the same thing, trying to adjust the inflation number with the price they're offering to the customer, and their customers are okay with that. So this is still, we are in a strong economy and we should not be too much afraid of where to invest and not. But that comes back to something. Think of that what happened with as the growth is happening, that some of the company has to pay more money their laborers, their employees, which is okay. If you look at what happened, US growth versus inflation, and in the growth versus inflation, both data shows as we are growing, as economy is growing, that most of the business owner that transferring those extra costs to produce the product to their customer, and customers are okay to take over those costs and still find a value. So which is still a good sign that as an investor, you want to invest in a business where it's going to keep going higher. So next week, what's going to happen? So let's talk about the earnings. So we know last week a lot of business earnings came up. It's a great number. So this week, that Monday, you're going to see some of the business like Amgen, Siemens, and Tenet. Those business, or CNN before. There are about 80 companies are going to release their earnings this week. So some of you might think, hey, this is the company that you want to invest in, and it's a good price. If something investor do not like it, it might be your opportunity to take advantage of that, right? So think of that. And then Tuesday, they're going to share their earnings right before market coming in. We know the Pfizer's, BP, Cisco, some of those business that you heard about it, and their Harley Davidsons, they will release their earnings and see if that any of those business attracts you. If sometimes if you want to buy it, it goes down, and boom, that might be your opportunity to buy those stock. And then on Tuesday after market close, this is the time now we are going to see what Peloton, that bike, you have it. They have done awesome job before to have create a new market share during COVID time, but they're losing their momentum ground. So we'll see this coming week, Tuesday, is Peloton ready to bounce back and they share better data than before. Last time it got hammered, Peloton. So from $100, it went down to very low price. It's like right now around $30, $32 on Peloton. So this is a great business that, if you're looking at to invest over time, they might go back to 100 again. So Chipotle is, we know that this is a very innovative company. They are not only figured out, how to be in the business during the COVID, they still keep growing their more location, their more customers. They're also having a lot of more innovation within, inside and outside. That they're going to release their earnings, and Lyft will say that what Lyft has to do, how they are performed. If you are into riding share or transportation, that their earnings is going to coming on Tuesday after market. And then Wednesday, that we are before market open, that we'll see something like CVS, Walgreens, CVS, those type of business, and Honda. They are going to release their earnings. And there is a company like Teva they are in biotech. They have been making good momentum. So their earnings also coming on Tuesday before market share. On Wednesday after market close, then biggest one is going to be to look at that, think of Tulio and Walt Disney. Now we'll see that if Disney is able to figure out to come up with a new subscription, and also some of the challenges they faced before with their growth side, can they still to deliver those numbers? So that's something you need to look into it. And some of the gaming industry, Zynga and Robot, Lumen and MGM Resort in transportation, or the travel industry, they're going to come up with their earnings on Wednesday to look at. And Thursday before market, that everyone is looking at PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, AstraZeneca, their earnings coming on Thursday. And we have seen Philip Morris also, their earnings going to be coming on before the market open on Thursday. Datadog, that IT business, some of the people are looking into that business. They're saying it might go to the moon. It might be your opportunity to buy some stock. And on Thursday, that right after market close, the Twitter, Cloudflare, Zillow, Upwork, those business, their earnings are going to be coming on Thursday. So that will be another big day this coming week, to see if those companies, especially Affirm, that we know that they work very closely with Amazon and multiple other companies to offer some fintech solution, buy now, pay later, and some other innovative ideas are in the concept or product services they're offering, and market is taking it, what number they can produce. It might be opportunity for you if some of them come up with the great numbers. And then Friday comes back. When it comes to Friday, Underarm and is one of the things I might be keeping an eye on. So, keep an eye on this, whatever makes you comfortable this coming week, take a look at it. So what else is happening on this coming look ahead? Asia Pac, what we are seeing in Asia, that especially China, after a week that their whole new year is finished and they're coming back and opening their stock market. So China's market is going to be opening this week. So we'll see that how everything adjusted in Chinese market, and some of the economical data is going to go released while it happens. So hopefully we'll see the Chinese market is this still is uptrend like US and other around the world, right? And then earnings coming up in SoftBank, that one of the largest venture capitalists who invested in many business like Nvidia and other business they invested, that their earnings is going to come up on this coming week. But it's a Japanese business, and Nissan's earnings are also coming. So there are so many other business outside in India and China and Japan and Korea, the earnings coming. So we'll see if they can keep producing some of the numbers that US market can deliver, right? And then the rate discussion is going to happen, or the new number is going to come up for India, Thailand, Indonesia. Their rate is are they going to increase their bond rate, and those we'll find out. And in Europe market, that you need to keep an eye on the meetings that Biden is going to have with the German new prime minister this coming week, and what kind of trade discussion they're going to talk about at the same time, and how closely that they are going to keep an eye on the tensions happening between Russia and Ukraine, and how that are going to affect their business, and some of the the trade conversation that happening in the past, that between US large tech business and compliance business in Europe. Though all those discussion is going to happen this coming week, which is great. That and then the earnings, the busy earnings is going to be happening same like US in UK and Europe, other business. And some of the British economical data is going to be also producing this coming week, like CPI and job number. Hopefully, it can show what we are seeing in the US. So in America, that one of the things that you need to keep an eye this coming week, that SEC, where new SEC chairman Gary is going to release some of the policy changes. When I say policy changes, what that means is that as a trader, there's so many retail traders today buy stock, they sell stock, and at the same time, when an institution does the same thing, how long it takes them to document it and to file, register with SEC, and they can have a proper channel of communication. They found there are loopholes between the retailers and the broker that you use the services. So this new SEC regulation is going to put a lot of those the compliance, that policy they're going to updating. Hopefully that will either help protect more retailers, or there are whatever that is, you'll see that it is for good reason. So keep an eye on this. That might make market little get upset, or it can keep continue going upside. No one knows. And inflation report numbers is going to come up this week. And then we're going to see that are we still having the number inflation around 7% before we have seen it? Is it still upward momentum, or because of some of the correction made in different areas, that is slowly going down? We have seen that the job number made a huge difference. So hopefully some of this inflation is going to get reflected and showing that less danger zone. And earnings, as we mentioned earlier, earnings just keep coming. And it's just showing that, still companies are resilient. Now the crypto, let's switch to the crypto areas. So some of you that those who the crypto investor that are, I feel your pain. Crypto is still is not as high as it was before, but look at the good, one of the good thing that crypto slowly is getting matured like stock market. As we saw, the stock market has the almost 10% correction, right? That the last 2 months, and within that crypto had, yeah, it's a bigger correction. However, crypto did not go down to like some of the danger number, like we have been we've been warning before. If you see Bitcoin goes down below 30,000, there is a bad sign. It can go down way more, but Bitcoin stayed strong above that, and now we see the slowly Bitcoin is coming back up. So crypto has a good good momentum, what I would say. But here, what you are looking at on the crypto side, look at crypto in a weekly basis. On a crypto, Bitcoin, on last 7 days, crypto 10% up, Ethereum 14% up, Tether and Binance is 8% up. So if I'm looking at it, Cardano also 5% up, Solana 20% up in a week, which is excellent, right? Solana went more than below $100 last week. Now it's above $100. And Terra, Polkadot, Dogecoin is all of them went down. Polygon 5% up. So it gives you a sign that look, crypto is trading just like the stock market. We have seen that it had more than 10%, but last week it was a good sign for crypto. And then one of the things that our news earlier came up that we do not know how accurate it is, but this news was the senator from Arizona, one of the senator from Arizona bill to make is asking to make Bitcoin as legal tender in Arizona. So whenever that we see that politicians from different states and others are having more confidence in the crypto world, or some of the things they share that, hey, we see that this is an asset that we cannot ignore. We should consider doing this, using it as another type of asset, and then Fed has to come in, or the regulator has to come in to make sure that the consumers are more comfortable in investing in crypto, gold, and some of the assets that you can use as a hedge, or you might be doing the trading all overall. So crypto is something that I do not think that it's going to go down, but it's not going away, but it's going to be, hopefully is going to be adapted. But one of the things also we have seen that last week in more Twitter, Instagram, Meta, Facebook, they mentioned, and YouTube and all others, that they are looking to see how to integrate crypto, NFT, and some of those assets in their day-to-day payment operation, or at the same time in their platform. So good, that's also good for as a consumer that you need to keep an eye. So this coming week also, that if you are looking something for long term to invest in your portfolio 401k or some, then you should look at that, understand that the economy is not getting weaker in America, it's getting stronger and stronger. We have seen last 3 weeks that earnings showed resilient. It showed a lot of business people thought this is it, that's the top of it, but they have proven, the analysts, they can still go higher. Their margin can go higher. They can still use with this high labor cost, with the challenge they're facing, right? Chip shortage and all the others we have seen. So economy is getting stronger. And one of the things where we are seeing, and at the same time, analysts are also looking at that what I showed earlier, that real estate did not grow much. Real estate market might turn around. When it is turn around, you might want to look at some of those assets in real estate, even stock, that there's REIT and some of those ETF fund, that if you believe in there, maybe you might consider adding some of those, right? And then if you're looking at those stocks, like what we have seen, Facebook last week earlier, it lost more than 20%. So I will, so stock like Facebook and others, if you are looking technical, look at this almost like 200 days moving average. And if you look at the technical chart, so if it is, it's a good time to start adding some of them in your long-term portfolio. So variables you need to look into is think about it when it comes to stock. Is this a growth company, or is the value company, or is this playing on the both side? If it's playing on the both side, those are the business might be giving you a higher return than what you are getting now. We have seen some business can give you 15%, 20% return in a year. So why not try to find those business, right? And then the price is, no one can tell what's going to happen. So that's why you slowly keep adding some of those stock or the assets or investment you're looking at. You buy it when it goes down, put small amount of money. If it goes down more, put a little bit more. It goes down more, put more. So this way you are creating a process that's going to work for you, and also is going to work for your budget, right? This is how you manage your risk also level, because nobody knows if it's not going to go down again next week, next 3 weeks. No one knows, right? So if it is, then at least then when it goes down, you'll have money to purchase it back. But at the same time, some stocks that if it goes up, why not sell it? Like last week, and I have Microsoft for long term, for short term. And I've seen the last few weeks, Microsoft went down, but I had, a small gain. I said, okay, I'm going to sell it, because look at overall, Microsoft lost money for the week. So I didn't. Now, if it goes down more, I can add more. So you do not have to be a day trader, but when you see green, it's always good to get out on a green time. And then it goes down more, then you will have those extra cash to buy those stock or business that you really care about. So next week, some of the stocks that you can think of or buying, let's say SPY. SPY is like, if you look at SPY, the chart, SPY, on the last week, SPY gives you indication what might happen. So if you look at the SPY, look at that chart, SPY is overall, if I'm looking at it as the trend, that last week pretty much every day SPY is going higher and higher and higher. You see that isn't. So this coming week, what you're seeing, the SPY, it closed around 448 last Friday. If those who is looking to buy option or something, you can consider SPY this coming week Friday, 450 call or something you can consider. Or if you are not comfortable, you can go even 2 weeks ahead, make a 450 call, or you can make it spread option side. But if SPY is safe, if SPY stay about 450, 455, you'll see that it's ready to come back up. Come back like 470 and 463, just like it did before. Then we are shifting the momentum. So this is a stock you might want to consider. Then what I want to share on General Motors. Look, General Motors is a great business. We know that auto and their new CEO, all the innovation they're making. From $70, it's not too long ago, it was 61, almost $70 it touched, and it came down. But last few weeks, if you look at it, almost $67, actually $67, $68 came down to 51. It's a great business. Their earnings is not like that surprise too much, but it just traded like the way market did it. So this is a stock that you might want to consider to add it for your long term. You're going to see that General Motors is coming back to again over 60 and that. So if I am looking this coming week that what to buy, this is another stock that I would highly recommend you keep an eye on. Then let's talk about another stock that EA is again. It's Argo Inc. No, it's Electronic Arts Inc. This is the company that what we are seeing last week, a lot of buying happens inside, buying happening inside, and institutions buying this stock. Every day, slowly, you are seeing that. We think at some point maybe there are some news or events happening, just like what we saw Microsoft is buying ATVI, one of the merging, and then they are going to award the shareholders is much higher price than what it is that happened. There might be news or something might be coming up, and because of the slowly institutions, some of the institutions they figured out they are accumulating these stocks. So this is a stock that you might want to look into it and see if you are into that business. So the ticker is again E like elephant, A like apple, that you can keep an eye. And then Roblox is a stock that we know the gaming industry also. This one got hammered big time last few weeks. This is not too long ago. It was in month of December, $140 of stock. Now from 140, it came to 63. This has happened. This is perfectly fine for long term. If I were you, that those who's thinking that what stock, keep an eye on this stock. This is going to be turnaround. It's going to pay you well. So I would consider adding it in my long-term portfolio and not look at it every day. And final one that I want to share for today before I close up this session, Lucid. Look at this Lucid. Lucid, when it opened, Lucid now. This one, it touched 64, 65 when it came IPO and stuff. But now look at from 64, 65, Lucid came in and where is 27? It's huge loss for a while. But we know that in that market that there are so many competition happening. Do not look at Lucid just like any other auto industry. Lucid competitor is not Ford. Their competitor is not Tesla. Think of them like as BMW and when you look at BMW, Mercedes, and those type of luxurious car that, the Porsche and others, Lamborghini, they have their type of customer. So Lucid had the same thing when they are going to come up, release their earnings. But I know some of my friends and others, who love the car. They have the Tesla, they have Lucid, but they say out any day, some of them said I would buy Lucid versus that, right? Just because some of the luxury items that Lucid offer in their car, it doesn't, Tesla doesn't go in that area. So, I would consider, if you are into adding some of those car or the business, Lucid is another one, but also it's a new player. So you just have to be careful that they will have their earnings coming up very soon. And then we'll see that if they can produce those numbers. Okay, so far you have learned about market economy, learned what happened last week, and you learned some of those facts that you may need to keep an eye on this coming week whether you are going to be investing in stock market for short term day trading or long term, that you are looking for opportunities to invest in a business. So we shared not only on some few of the stocks, we also gave you some idea about the real estate market, what may happen. And lastly, we covered some crypto, that what happened in crypto market. Hopefully you learned something with us, and we want to thank you for staying with us, listening, and also watching whatever media you're using. And please, if you like it, like the video, share with someone and that you care about. Thank you again.